Okay, so today, before we begin looking at the actual process of logging into an Adobe Connect live lecture and engaging with a lecturer and your lecturer and fellow students, the first thing we need to do is to check that our browser and systems are compatible with using Adobe Connect. This is a very important first step. If we ignore this step and don't do this check, then most likely we're going to run into difficulties on the night when we try to use or engage with a live lecture. So I would direct you to the Student IS manual, a copy of which can be found on Moodle, or you may already have been emailed a copy of this. And in the section on Adobe Connect, on the very first page in the introduction, you will find a link, you can see it here, to Adobe Connect test page. And this will test the IT requirements for using Adobe Connect. So if we click on that, you will be brought to a browser page, very similar to this one here, and this is the Adobe Connect test page provided by Adobe themselves. And you will see it runs through a series of diagnostic tests. The first thing it tests for is to test to see if you've got the correct Flash Player version, because Flash is an integral part of running Adobe. It also tests your whether you can actually log into Adobe Connect, and then it will test the speed of your line to see if it's suitable for or fast enough to use Adobe Connect in a live lecture environment. And finally, it will test to see if you have the Adobe Connect add-in or plug-in in your browser. Now this plug-in, although not essential when you're just engaging as a participant or a student with a lecture, it is recommended because it provides a very stable environment in which to use Adobe Connect and in which to engage with the live lectures, as you will see in our later video. So it's recommended that you install this add-in, and it'll give you the option to install it here. You just basically click on the install button. It'll ask you to allow this function. You click on yes, and then you may get a warning in your browser depending on the browser you're using. In this case, this is Google Chrome, and the warning comes up at the top of the page. Sometimes the warning comes at the bottom of the page with other browsers. It's asking you to allow the Adobe Connect to access your computer. So click on allow, and you will now see that the Windows vanished, meaning that the Adobe Connect plugin has now been installed, and the message now changed to the fact that add-in is installed. So once you have followed these basic, and again, if one of these essential components is missing, Adobe Connect will give you the option to install or to correct this, or give you some guidance on how to troubleshoot the problem. If you can't solve the problem from this page, please feel free to contact our support services, IT support services. Until the next time.